That's the difference between us.
Yeah.
Like I really, me and my peers, we don't overwork.
Yeah.
You know, we don't. But I know people older than me, you guys overwork.
Yes.
You guys will like be working all day and night and not take a break or like, you know, cry that you're like burnt out and things like that, or like let your personal lives slip and just like decline.
Yes.
But I think it's just the difference in generation too. I mean, this evolution, of course. Gen Z, they really are not working. So we're really.
That was an excerpt of the interview with Malik Waseem Shuler, CEO of Urbane Society in LA. That's coming up next on the Neoliberal Around podcast. Stay tuned.
Follow the snake. You know, come that way, please. That's what they say when you play the game. But God forbid you ever had to wake up and read the news. 'Cause then you really might know what it's like to have to lose. And then you really might know what it's like. But then you really might know what it's like.
All right.
But then you really might know what it's like. But when you really might know what it's like to have to lose. See the rich man beg, see the good man sing, the sad man cry. See the loser win, the sad man grin, and the honest man lie. See the good side of bad and the down side of up and everything between. I drink the silver spoon, drank the golden cup, and I spoke the fire.
All right.
That is time to use another time for broke their heart. You know where it is, your
Thank you. We are in New York. We are in New York, guys. Coming to you live from New York City, Manhattan, New York. I am Ronaldo McKenzie here at the Neoliberal Around podcast. And today we have breaking news. Queen Elizabeth II, the longest reigning monarch of Britain, has died. And we also have the interview with CEO of the Urbane Society in LA, Malik Waseem Shuler. You can't afford to miss this episode. Coming up next, right here on the Neoliberal Around podcast.
Just before the interview with Mr. Malik Waseem Shuler, we have some breaking news from yesterday we want to share with you. Breaking news. Queen Elizabeth II has died. Queen Elizabeth II of England and Great Britain, Britain's longest reigning monarch, dies at 96 years old. Queen Elizabeth II, Britain's longest reigning monarch and one of the most enduring royal personalities the world has known, has died at the age of 96. Buckingham Palace confirmed that the Queen died Thursday at Balmoral Castle, her official residence in Scotland. The Queen died peacefully at Balmoral this afternoon. The King and the Queen Consort will remain at Balmoral this evening and will return to London tomorrow, the palace said in a statement. The news came after palace officials issued a statement earlier in the day saying the Queen had been put under medical supervision at Balmoral as her doctors were concerned for Her Majesty's health. All of the senior members of the royal family quickly traveled to be by her side. The Queen and the British people, along with the Commonwealth nations, had been celebrating a historic milestone. 2022 marked the monarch's platinum jubilee. 70 years on the throne, but the Queen made only a few brief appearances at events in her honor to mark the anniversary in June, citing mobility issues and discomfort. Now, the question of succession. Who will take over as the reigning monarch? And if you understand history, it will be the eldest son. And the eldest son is Prince Charles, who just this year, the Queen reconfirmed that after her death, her son will be king and reigning monarch, and Prince Charles's wife will be Queen of England. Of course, being Queen of England doesn't make her the reigning monarch. Although she will be queen, she will not be reigning monarch. The reigning monarch in this stead would be the king, the person who will be king. And of course, she is also survived by her husband, Prince Philip. Now, the children, the marriage, by the way, there's so much to be said. And we will follow the story and have several discussions with several individuals regarding this breaking news. It's breaking news. Queen Elizabeth of England, a woman that has served through many presidents and prime ministers of England and presidents of the US, and through various World War II, seen the Cold War. An instrumental woman that was able to keep England together, kept Great Britain and together. A woman that many has really looked up to, and she has changed over the years. The way she has opened her heart and accepted Andrew's wife, and at first we know that at first we know of how the tumultuous time with Princess Diana, and how there was a standoff between the public and that of Queen Elizabeth and the monarch. But over time, she got back into their good graces. We will continue to follow the story as England today mourn the passing of their monarch, Queen Elizabeth II, Britain's longest reigning monarch. We'll be right back after these messages.
This is the Neoliberal Round Podcast, and I am Ronaldo McKenzie. Welcome, and I was just playing a song. Will you come and go with me? Will you come and journey with me today as we explore another exciting topic, looking or continuing the journey, looking at neoliberalism, globalization, income inequality, poverty and resistance, and the issue of life, and how we can serve the world today to solve tomorrow's challenges. And now, the interview with the CEO of Urbane Society, that is Mr. Shuler, Mr. Malik Waseem Shuler. Here is the interview. Next. Today we have with us Malik Shuler. Malik Shuler, and we are in New York, Malik, but Harlem, New York, Manhattan, actually.
We're in Harlem.
But you're not from New York, and I'm not from New York. I live in Philadelphia, and you live in.
I live in LA.
LA, yes, and LA is a very good friend of my twin brother Ricardo Mackenzie, and I wanted an opportunity to talk with him because he is an entrepreneur. Okay, yes. He's self-motivated and he's a businessman, and you are working to get to the next level. So welcome to the show. Thank you for agreeing to have this sit down with me to talk, and we're just going to be wrapping. Listen, and you're a businessman, and recently ESPN and Stephen A. Smith and a group of people from ESPN, they've been promoting black businesses or black-owned businesses, and I think they had the hashtag support black-owned businesses, and you're an African American or a black man, so to speak. You're a black man, as we say in the pejorative sense, but you are a man, young man, and you have a business. And how is it going so far? What's the name of your business? And those are some of the questions I want to ask you. But first, we want to talk about you, who you are. You have a business in LA, but are you from LA?
No, not from LA.
All right. Where are you from?
I'm originally from Washington D.C.
Okay, and I can connect with D.C. I'm at Georgetown, although I'm on leave of absence with my doctorate. But so you're from D.C.
Yes.
And why did you move to LA? If you don't mind.
I moved to LA because LA has a lot of opportunity.
Yes.
And also the weather is phenomenal.
Okay, everybody would like LA because of the weather. And actually, last night,
don't say when people meet you, they're like, "Oh, why'd you move to LA?" And don't say the weather. And I'm like, yes. What else would it be?
That is true. Actually, people were saying that you last night or yesterday evening, you were saying there's something about LA's weather, the humidity.
There's no humidity.
It's dry weather, and then not only that, you are making a comparison between Miami, which I love, and LA. You said something that was I never thought about it. You said, "Oh, you go to LA and there's shops and it's like a whole community on the beach."
Yeah.
But LA is just for vacation's sake. There's no community on the beach. There's no life there. You just go visit it. It's touristy. Yeah. But LA now is like a community. It's okay. All right. But anyway, sorry for cutting you. Continue.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here.
Yes.
Be in LA and in New York. So
right.
I'm all over.
Listen, that's fine. I have a lot of questions for you because the first question I asked is why the journey from DC to LA? You said you like the weather, but I know you did live in New York sometime before.
Yeah, I lived in New York for 6 years.
All right. So before you went, so take us on your journey.
Yeah,
okay.
I'll take you on the journey. I'm from DC. I grew up on Capitol Hill, and partly uptown, Northwest Washington D.C. And then I went to college in New York. So I moved to New York when I was 17.
Yes.
And I originally moved to White Plains, where I went to Berkeley in White Plains. Mm-hmm. And I went there for like a semester, but then I moved to the city.
Okay.
So I was really into fashion. I was like a stylist. I was working for different celebrity stylists and editorial stylists. So I was doing like Vogue magazine shoots and living that life at like 18. I had just turned 18 while I was living here.
Okay.
In New York. And it was really fun. Like I had a good time. It was like during the peak. For me, I feel like it was one of the peaks of New York. Like now it's not the same. New York is not the same. But back then in 2010 to 2015 is when I lived here.
Right.
Or really 2009. I moved at the end of 2009 to 2015.
Yeah, that's when I just came to the U.S.
Yeah.
2009, right?
Yeah, it was popping.
Yeah.
Like, it was always a lot of fun. And the fashion was crazy. Like,
so you think New York has changed now? You don't think New York when you look at New York between 2010
and 2022.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed, and a lot of people are saying the same thing since the pandemic.
Right.
New York is not the same as dead. There's a whole new influx of like different kind of people here who are not really innate to the culture. Like, basically a lot of like square white people.
They're moving to Philadelphia, I guess.
Yeah, they're moving to all the cities.
Yes, they are moving.
New York is like a lot of like square, like preppy white people are not normally in the city.
Right, right.
They're normally, we don't normally see those people.
Yes.
I'm used to seeing all types of crazy people.
Yes. They're very dynamic, very unique. It's
very
just
unique, very like, everybody's into their thing.
Artsy,
I love it.
Yes, an appreciation for who you are as an individual.
Yeah.
And
now it's just like very just kind of soulless. It's like robotic in a way.
Right.
And then there's no yellow cabs anymore.
What do you have? Uber.
There's Ubers, but you're used to seeing in the city yellow cabs. The streets are flooded with yellow cabs. Now it's like the streets are bare.
Yeah.
And it's just regular cars, I guess Ubers and stuff.
You lived where in this? You live you lived in Harlem first.
I lived in the Bronx and Harlem.
The Bronx and Harlem, and you think it's the same all over?
Well, in New York, yes.
In New York, okay.
Yes. In New York, yes.
Yeah.
Well, in DC, really has gotten a lot of gentrification.
Yes.
Dramatically. So, that's happened. But LA is kind of like behind. It's like so far behind.
In what way?
In every way.
We know LA is broke. But yet still everything is free.
Well, I don't think
they give a lot of support to the people.
I honestly don't agree with that.
Okay.
California has probably the most money out of all the states.
Probably
it's huge.
The state.
Yeah.
And people and it's easy for people, and they have so much charities there. Everybody have a charity, or the money is in Cayman Islands.
I think
so. That's why LA is broke. They have money. The people have money there, but. Is the state getting the money?
No, I think that the state does. They get all the money because they're taking a lot of our money. There's no way around it. And that's the thing about California is that no one wants to live there.
Right.
Like people outside of California say, "Oh, I can't live there."
Yes.
Because it's so expensive. The taxes are high. The gas is high.
Yeah.
At this rate today, gas is over $7
in LA.
In LA.
Wow.
Right now.
That's high.
Yeah, so
wow.
What is it? August, September, all throughout the
and that's regular
2022.
Gas.
No, premium.
Premium, okay.
But regular would be like $6 and some change.
In Philadelphia, yesterday, 2 days ago, I paid $3.89 for 87 gas. $3.89.
So that's double.
And that's Sunoco.
Okay. Ours is double.
Oh wow! Yes.
Yeah. So if you're paying $3 something, we're paying $6 something.
It's oh wow! The cost of living there is.
And everything is more expensive, and then the taxes are crazy, and then they tax you on everything, like bags and plastic and bottles, and all of it is getting like taxed.
Yes, thanks to the ideology and this new concept of global warming. So they say they're creating a solution.
Yeah.
But however, they create another economic problem.
But see, that's a deeper issue too. Yes. Because, that's a deeper conversation because I honestly don't mind it when I think about it.
Okay.
It's just like, okay, to make more money to accommodate this, but the lifestyle in LA is so much better. It's worth it.
Yes.
Like every time I think, I can't deal with all the taxes when I see how much they're taking and how much I got to pay. But then I think about it, where else would I live?
Right.
In DC, it's the same thing. They tax the fuck out of you. They got cameras everywhere. So they're taking pictures. They're sending like tickets. Tickets are like $150, $250. And there's cameras everywhere, so it's like you can get multiple. I was just talking to my aunt, and she said she had to pay like $900 from one camera.
$900.
That caught her a few times because she didn't know it was there. But it kept getting her every time she was going to work, and she was going over like 25 miles per hour. That's nothing.
They're pulling a lot of money.
So they're trapping people into paying more. And they have toll roads and everything. But the metro in DC is not that great, whereas it's not like New York where people take it all the time. So they're getting you. So either way. So I think that coming from another city that's very expensive and pretty much rapes their residents and citizens, to another city that does the same thing, it's just like, okay, at least I'm in a nicer place.
Well, move to Philadelphia, man.
It's always sunny. It's always nice. Like, you can't beat it. It's like 75 degrees every single day, and it never rains.
Wow,
it never rains. But that's the scary thing too.
But anyway, so you moved from New York in 2000 and when did you move?
I moved to New York.
I mean, when did you make the transition from New York to LA?
So from New York in 2015, I moved to D.C. Back to D.C. I lived in D.C. for 2.5 years.
Okay.
And then I moved to LA in 2017.
Okay.
So I've been in LA for 5 years.
All right.
Pretty much as of next week, it'll be officially 5 years.
And what's been going on in LA now? But that's one of the reasons why I want to talk to you as well with this interview, because I know you
yes, I have my own business.
How did that happen when you moved? Did it start before LA?
Well, I conceptualized my brand Urbane. Urbane Society is the name of my company.
Urbane Society.
Yeah, is the name of my company, and it started out as a company that focuses on creatives and highlighting creativity and in media and using media. So I ended up actually switching into doing more pop-up shops in fashion, and I moved to DC in 2015, and that's when I started to curate events. Right. So I started to curate events within the community, within just promoting fashion and style and beauty and wellness, and just kind of like a lifestyle in residential spaces, like luxury residential properties and hotels. Then I started to bring in brands to make it shoppable.
Yes.
And someone told me, "Oh, you're doing pop-ups. That's what it is." And I'm like, "Okay, that's what it is." And then I basically started a business doing pop-up shops.
Oh, wow.
With different brands. And I started my own brand in LA. I started my brand Urbane, my clothing brand. URBANE.
Oh, you have, and you actually you're wearing a shirt, and it's nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. So I started my brand as a premium.
And you started it when again?
I started it in 2017.
The brand, the conceptualization of the brand.
Yes,
right?
in 2017.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
And what are some of the things that you did in terms of to start and to promote and to get? Did you begin with funding, your own funding, and so on?
No, I worked. I really what they call bootstrapped it.
All right, explain.
Well, I mean, I pretty much worked a job. I worked a job.
Which is what I am doing too.
And build my business.
Yes.
And work my business and operate it. So it is pretty challenging because when you don't have funding, you can't exactly pay people consistently to do things, to scale your business. So, and then you can't, it takes a lot of your mental capacity away. So over the years, it's 2022. I started my business in 2017.
Right.
So I'm just now coming to a realization of what is exactly needed more recently, and then really looking at things in a different way than I was back in 2017.
Okay, this is good. How have you adjusted your approach? Okay, you said that you have changed.
Okay.
What's going on? How is it different?
Yeah, before I was so fixated on operating my business and really just being in business and focusing on that, as opposed to actually thinking about getting money so that I can allocate these resources to different people, use different people to do different things to scale the business faster. Whereas before I was so fixated on doing the work myself. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Instead of, let's say, if you're trying to start a business where you're selling something, and a lot of people do, you need social media, you need you need accounting, you need all of these different things. You need you need marketing in general. I'm not even gonna just say social media marketing, but every type of marketing. You need to be able to curate different content and push content and keep engaged with your audiences and things like that. Build clientele. all of these things. And then if you're making the product, like really, like who's going to do all that? Like that's why a lot of small businesses fail, because it's a lot of work. Like it's not just making the product, it's selling the product, it's photographing the product constantly. Actually, you know, you're constantly creating and constantly editing videos and things like that you didn't think that you would have to do as a business owner. If your thing is making jewelry, like why do I have to be a content creator and a social media strategist and you know, email marketer, and you know, that's the difference of being a business owner and like just having a job.
Okay, so now you are utilizing more support.
So as the CEO, you know, I've learned that I have to operate as a CEO and do different things. So like, it's always at a higher level. I'm always thinking like, okay, how can I execute my concept or bring, you know, move my brand forward? But not in a physical way or in a kind of like a day-to-day way. It's more so like in a higher level strategic way. And then trying to bring in the funds in order to pay people to do that or execute these initiatives.
Okay. That's good. And now that you're doing that, what has been? Have you also tried to get any kind of funding from any?
Yeah, I've had grants. I've gotten grants. I just recently was awarded a Black Future Maker from AT&T, Dreaming Black, and it was featured on TV One.
Okay.
That was back in February of 2022.
Right.
And we did Coachella. After that, they awarded me with $15,000 and like a whole tech pack with the laptop and iPhone and
wow. Listen, this is very important because there are many people like you who are struggling, and as you said, businesses are failing. So you were able to. How did you get this AT&T?
Well, they recognized me for the work that I was doing in LA.
Oh.
With my app and everything.
You had an app?
Yeah, I have an app. It's called Urbane Market. It's a marketplace, a virtual marketplace for local brands. So it allows customers, anyone to shop local. So it geolocates different items, and brands can get on there and they just upload their products and it geolocates them. So wherever they are located, based on the zip code, is where it'll come up. So if visitors are there or people are living in the area, they want to shop local, it'll pull up their stuff first. Because it's aggregated to pull up the closest thing to you, and then you can shop that way, or you can search for whatever you want, like candle, dress, red dress, blue jeans, jewelry, or whatever, and then you can just shop from there.
And you go, you know what? Okay, I'm happy that I started having. I overheard the discussion you were having with Ricardo yesterday. It was quite powerful, and in relation to what you have just said. You just said, which is quite interesting. Now I understand the philosophy of the book. I want to understand the philosophy of the business a little bit more, or the mission and why you do it. Because you talk about geolocating, you talk about local, and I know yesterday you talk about Amazon, and I've been telling you, I've been having, I have a book. I have a company, the Neoliberal Corporation. We're a think tank, digital media. We develop websites and so on and so forth. But I published a book, and Amazon has my book. My book is for about $25-30, between $25-30, and it's in various. And I went on Amazon.
Most of it.
Amazon is selling my book for $8.
Wow.
$9, $10. Wow. But you go on Barnes & Noble, it's selling for the right price. Anywhere between $25 to $35, hardcover, paperback, whatever the case is. So I did contact my publishers about that, Palmetto, and they're going to check into that, find out what is going on, how is it. And then you talk about last night. You talk about this level of reputation. You have to protect your reputation and integrity. Your book is. You know what your book is worth. You
can't have a brand without integrity.
Precisely. And somebody saw my book. David Fear, the deputy chief, he bought a copy of my book, but he was about to buy it on Amazon. He said he was the one who brought it to my attention. Mr. Mickey, he said, Rev, why is Amazon selling your book so cheap? And I'm like, what? Let me see that. And then I said, it's also on Barnes & Noble. He went to Barnes & Noble. He said, I'll buy it from Barnes & Noble because they have the right price. It's also available at Palmetto for those of us who are listening to this podcast. But I like your concept, and that's one. And you talked about that. Tell me what you were. tell us the philosophy and the idea and the concept of your business and how it goes beyond what these other companies are.
I'll start with the source then.
Yeah.
My inspiration really came from New York, but it really was rooted in D.C. and kind of was birthed in D.C.
Yeah.
Growing up in D.C. is very much was a small town feel. It was, even though it's the nation's capital, it had a really community feel to it. Yeah. So everyone kind of knew each other, even though there's the good and the bad to that. Everyone's in your business, and there's a lot of negative, but it's a lot of positive too. Moving to New York is much bigger, but it also reminds me of that. Every culture has their own community, and it's hyper local, and that's what I love about New York. That's what I love about any place. I think that's a part of me. But recently, I feel like we're losing that.
Right.
I recognized that back in 2015, 2016.
Yeah.
When I moved into a luxury property, and there's a lot of transplants and wealthy white people and stuff. So I was hanging out in the pool, and one of my neighbors was like, "Oh, you work in fashion? You should bring fashion here," because we want that, but we don't know. They're not from the city. DC was being gentrified, so I was from DC, so I knew the city like the back of my hand.
Okay.
These people don't know the city, so if they're in an area, they don't want to go outside. It's dangerous. First of all, DC is very dangerous, so it's like people, they will go to their apartment and they'll go to work. They don't really, they didn't really feel comfortable going out like that. So I started doing pop-ups, and I figured, let me bring in local brands and do these fashion shows and stuff, and then people can shop. And we had restaurant come and cater and everything. We had hors d'oeuvres. It was really nice on the rooftop. And I was like, okay, this is a thing. So I started replicating these concepts throughout different properties. And it became and that was my motive. My thing was that it was all local. And who doesn't want to experience local brands and unique items? That's what I love to do. So I basically said, okay, what can I do that I love to do, that I believe in, whereas I can turn it into a business. I didn't know how. And even I've gone through the ups and downs, because it's hard to really gauge sometimes with any small business how much you should charge, what you should do. This is something that is your passion. I love shopping. I love, it's in my blood. My family is like that too. We're all shopaholics. We love just things, and no matter what, clothes, candles, home goods, all of these things. I've always imagined myself having my own store. So to have a pop-up store, it really made sense. So that's another layer of my concept and my vision is to never be stagnant. So it's always this travel focus too. Yeah. So the pop-ups allow me to be mobile. Pop-up shops allow me to not have to be nailed down to one location. I can, pop up anywhere and have a pop-up shop and have a store. So, and it kind of allows these local brands to get a platform to do this, and be exposed to different people, because the customers, they're like, oh yeah, they're discovering. I noticed when I was doing the pop-ups, they were like, oh yeah, where can I find this brand? I love this. I want to follow them. I want to keep up with their stuff. And it's yeah, that's good. Right. And at the time, I didn't have a website. Well, I had a website, but it didn't have their other brands' products on there. Okay. So I was trying to figure out how to really bridge that gap, because there is a sense of rarity when there's a pop-up and you can't access it online. You can only buy this here physically at this location, but you can't buy it online. But then there's a lot of people who, they don't shop in the moment. They're more so, oh, I'm gonna look at this, I'm gonna like this, but I don't know if I want to buy that right now. And that's how things have changed. Back in, I feel the early 2010s, people were more, I guess, more spend, they would just spend money on clothes and stuff like that. Now, people they think twice, because they can buy stuff for so cheap now, for $5 from China.
It looks good.
And that's a whole nother challenge. So, having things made in the US, or even just working with local brands and stuff like that, their prices, I can't tell them to lower their prices, or I can't change their price. Right. So people will come in, they don't want to pay certain price points and things like that. So that's a whole nother layer. And even with my brand being made in LA, it's very expensive to be made because it's ethical and everything.
Yes.
Which
and
is
that's
good.
part of
It's
the
a good
problem.
thing.
People, capitalists seeking cheap labor.
Yeah.
But you are trying to promote local talent and so on and so forth. So how do you bridge that gap between the price of labor while at the same time trying to minimizing costs?
I'm literally, I have no answer for you. I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out now. But really just actually right now what I'm really working on is having ownership over a lot of different or the main aspects of my business, cutting out the middleman as much as possible. So instead of even getting printing done, I can have printing in-house if I just invest in the equipment and hire someone to do it. And then that way I don't have to wait and drive around to burn gas to deliver, because I personally deliver these shipments with these the merchandise from place to place. So when something's made,
you don't use Amazon or anything like that.
Well, no, everything's made locally. So
so you be able to
the fabrics and everything, and when it's cut and sewn and everything is done in LA. So all of this stuff is being transported to, so to eliminate the effect on the ecosystem, cutting out the middleman, even just cutting out having to burn gas and stuff, driving around LA to transport fabric, essentially is even being more conscious. Just think of the amount of...
Well, you could use electric cars.
And that too. And then, but even just the energy of someone, and even having to pay someone, or me personally, that's time. Cut out time, cut out effect on the ecosystem and everything. And then just imagine how much pollution it causes just to have stuff shipped from overseas and things like that.
Wow.
Boxes and planes and boats and whatever, however it's getting to you. So that's why I choose not to get things made out of the country. I try to keep it as local as possible.
Because of the philosophy and of your brand, and you have to keep true to that as well. But and what has been the success? How is the business doing now?
It's slowly growing, and the awareness is getting out there. People are loving the concept and the message and the aesthetics. And
that's good.
it's a really clean brand. It's really modern, but also eclectic. And And
what about finance? What about your bottom? What's your bottom line? And are you making your bottom line?
Yeah.
We'd have to go deep into the numbers.
The business it does well. So when it operates, it's good. But within the business, we want to go to the next level.
And what's the next level? What do you see yourself and the business in the next 5 years?
Right now, we launched the app last year in October of 2021.
And was that difficult? Did it cost a lot of money?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, it was very, But also the prices has gone up literally in just 7 months.
Oh, wow.
So 3 times. Literally, multiplied by 3. And so it has put me in a situation where, the app is actually on pause right now because I don't have a developer. And now I'm about to start training to be a developer. While I figure out an interim developer. So that's a whole other thing. But the clothing line has actually been going well, but there's been production slowdowns due to COVID and the wars in Russia. So that has been challenging over the summer, which has kind of halted a lot of growth as far as what we can do. And then the inflation as well has really impacted customers, customers' behavior, buying behaviors and patterns and things like that. So it's just kind of been a little bit challenging, but I think that right now I'm just focusing on doing what's within my control.
Of course, demand affects supply, and then demand is also affected by whatever is going on in society.
Yeah, I mean, and there's always going to be ebbs and flows. So right now I'm investing in just behind the scenes stuff, getting my screen printing business set up, because I work with over 50 different brands in LA. I work with so many different people. So a lot of them, they need printers, and this is actually a really big thing, because normally these printing companies and things like that, they're local, but they're so busy. So they're taking minimums, like really high minimums. And a lot of businesses, they don't want to do high minimums. They want to get a few made. So I'm going to cater to the people who want to get a few items screen printed, low orders, low amounts of orders right now, and then see how it goes from there.
Well, we have been talking with Mr. Malik Shuler, and it's been quite interesting and I'm happy that I'm having this discussion, because so many people want to go into business or to start a business, but they're finding it very, very, very difficult. And recently we learned that the way in which people think about work is changing now. Young people are changing the way employers think about work. So many of them have flexibility.
We were just talking about that yesterday.
Yes.
Ricardo mentioned that.
They want
I was like, I mean, millennials, we're in the workplace and we're demanding what we want. But Gen X?
Yes, or the Gen Z, whatever they are called.
No, Gen X is the older generation.
Yes.
Gen X people are kind of workhorses.
Yes. Okay.
Kind of like workhorses.
Right.
Millennials are not. We're not. That's the difference between us.
Yeah.
Like I really, me and my peers, we don't overwork.
Yeah.
We don't. But I know people older than me. You guys overwork.
Yes.
You guys will be working all day and night and not take a break, or cry that you're burnt out and things like that, or let your personal lives slip and just decline. But I think it's just a difference in generation too. I mean, it's evolution, of course. Gen Z, they really are not working, so we're really.
You did say something yesterday about how.
Oh, sorry to curse on your.
Well, that's fine. No, we're gonna edit it out, so it's fine. But I'm gonna edit it before it's published, before it's released. But you said something yesterday. You mentioned it yesterday evening, about how they are making money. They're making money. The young
Gen Z,
they're doing their thing,
whatever they want to do.
Right, and they are making, and they just
the internet. It's a deeper conversation. This is a deeper conversation because we're in the age of Aquarius now. Right. We were in the age of Capricorn before.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
What is that? What's this?
Every not decade, but every several decades, maybe 30 years. In astrology, we change signs. So now that we're in the age of Aquarius, it's about information. It's about we were in the age of Capricorn through the Industrial Revolution until now, and so it's been very industrial. Everything has been reliant on kind of not a digital, but a physical form of industry and technology that was more physical.
Right, it's like your whole work is organized.
Yeah, and everything in structure, actually. Yeah. So that's another thing, power structures. And that's being challenged now.
Power structure is now, one of the things we said, that the decentralization of information, or Hillary Clinton said this many years ago in 2016 or before that. She said leadership at the center is softening. Yeah. The same thing. So it's like there's no pyramid. You don't think about how things and people are organized in a pyramid. Pyramid where it's more
we're
horizontal.
We're leveling, trying to level out. And we're in the really the thick of it.
Yeah.
You know, that's why it was the combustion in 2020. And really, we went into the age of Aquarius in 2020.
Yeah.
So,
even how we think about learning, even where I did the previous podcast, we've been talking about learning strategies, and we talked about having a college mindset and how learning that focuses on the uniqueness of the individual, because teaching is no longer seen as like the teacher pouring into the student. Teaching is now facilitative. The student now has to guide is guiding the learning process, because every student is unique. As I said, some people will sit an exam and pass it, some people don't pass it, but 10, 15 years down the line, the person who failed the exam is doing much better in life than the other person, because we're using the wrong thing to judge people. We're using the wrong thing to make determination, because people are different. So as you talk about how we're making money, and how you are making money, and then the ideas that you have.
Yeah, I mean, there's many different ways to make money.
Right. So you said no. What's the age we're in now? You said no longer Capricorn. It's now the
age of Aquarius.
Yeah. What sign are you?
I'm a Libra.
Oh yeah. When did your year pass? You probably.
We're so far away from the age of Libra. I don't know when that was. That was probably when Jesus was here.
Yes. I've oftentimes said, what is the aim of communication? Communication is to make popular what was the monopoly. Communication is to make popular what was the monopoly. And all those, but people are trying to regulate information, and that's going backwards. So that is why we do this show. We do this show so that people can become aware of what's going on and give people ideas. And I am inspired by you. I'm inspired by I learn from almost everything, with every challenge and every opportunity. It doesn't matter what it is. And I've learned tremendously from you and your story, that we've just touched the tip of the iceberg, but I have decided that I'm going to try and limit my podcasts. They've been very long. People don't listen to podcasts. So it's going to be 30 minutes. I'm going to try and do podcast 30 minutes, but there's so much I would like to ask you, you know, but you said, as you think about the future of Urbane, or how do you pronounce it? Urbane. I think I'm saying it right?
Yes.
And your life and where you wanted to go and so on. You said that you wanted to go next level. And I know you said there are some things on pause and so on and so forth. But how can other people get involved in Urbane, and what can governments and investors do to support businesses like yours?
Well, it can allow us to gain access to funds.
Okay.
Funds that will be able to really help us move our business forward.
Yes. Okay, what about the SBA and people? The SBA, the PPP, but that's not enough. It's just not reaching the community.
No,
it's not reaching people.
Yeah, we need resources. We need access to even being able to get employees.
Yeah.
Like job resources and things like that.
Yes, and is that proven to be challenging?
Yes, I've partnered with certain city organizations that really aim to support local businesses. Yeah. But I feel like they're very overwhelmed and understaffed. Probably because maybe they're not getting paid enough.
Well, yes, and people are looking for flexibility.
Well, and that's not the problem, because I know that they work remotely.
Okay. Well, that's true. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I don't know what it is, honestly, and that's another conversation, because there's actually a shortage in the workforce.
Yes.
There's more jobs than there is employees, like people to fill them.
Yeah. So
it's kind of weird, because we came out of a space where the unemployment rate was so high. Yeah. And there were no jobs. Now there's a lot of jobs, and where are the people?
Well, they're job hopping and they're job hopping, because the job, they're creating job, but are people getting paid?
I think yes. I think that yes and no. Actually.
No, because inflation rate is outstripping.
The inflation,
and it's
true.
And people are asked to work hard. You're gonna work hard.
Also, I think that a lot of people don't need jobs anymore. A lot of people are
working from home.
A lot, well, not even just working. A lot of people are entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
A lot of people have become entrepreneurs.
That is true.
Throughout the pandemic, because they had no choice but to rely on themselves, because of the fact that the government really screwed us. You know, it really scarred. It really scarred the American citizens, and now we're going through this period where the American citizens, we do not trust the government.
Yeah,
and we don't trust them, and we know that we can't rely on them for anything.
Right.
And it's kind of disappointing.
By the way, what's going on in LA? I mean, you live in LA. What's going on in LA? What's going on in your state in terms of the midterm elections coming up? And there's in like Philadelphia, there's a lot of crime and violence is high. You know, people dealing with a lot of car theft. That's a new thing now, a lot of car theft.
Yeah.
And so, what's going on? What's going on in LA?
There's a lot of crime and theft and gun violence and shootings and deaths, homicides.
Yes.
And I don't know what it is, but honestly, I mean, it's bad. It's pretty bad, but the 90s were bad too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're in this unique position. I think that a lot of us are in. We experienced a lot of this already.
Yeah.
So, maybe I'm a little desensitized to it.
Yes.
But it has been very a bit much. It's been a bit much. And that's also kind of contributed to, I think, the kind of the zeitgeist of what's happening here. Just tonally in the U.S. It's a sense of like it's the energy is kind of transitionary right now.
Do you think presidents help to set the tone of the country?
Yes. Absolutely.
You know, I mean, I always, I thought after President Obama and Michelle Obama, it was all about fitness and looking good. So I look at now, a lot of the young people who grew up under that, they don't drink soda because I remember they go, everybody's at the gym. Remember they make the gym more accessible. Yeah. So now I'm looking at the people and I'm like, wow, is this great. Under Obama and Michelle, under that presidency, they would focus on
those
fitness, 8 years, and coming, and how the young people from that era who probably and now leading from Trump into this era, we're still having that cultural thingy, that aura, and that aura-ness, that aura that fills the air. The American air is still. So you still people are just mean.
Everybody's mean and angry,
or everybody want to do their own thing, or yes.
And then also there's just crazy stuff happening in the news all the time.
Yeah.
I can't believe there's just so much stuff with the Republicans.
Yes.
And their antics.
There's a lot that's going on in society, politically changing. What's going on? People want to take critical theory out of the classroom, which is quite nonsensical. And then issues of extremism, January 6th insurrection, Donald Trump wants to run again. After all of that, I know my good friend John Anthony Castro, who is running, and he's been on the show before. I think, and we need to do a follow-up with Mr. Castro because he had indicated that he actually filed a suit in D.C. on July 20. So we will continue to follow that story for you. But this has been a very insightful and interesting interview, a chat, a sit down. It was an impromptu, sudden interview, and we learned so much. And I hope that you guys learn a lot from Mr. Shuler and what you can do as you think about developing your own business. One of the things I've oftentimes said, because I'm also in business, and I am in grassroots business, we're only in our first year. We just finished our first year, and we do several different things, but it hasn't been easy. And again, as well, accessing financing hasn't been easy either. And some of us have to have other jobs in order to finance some of the things that we're doing. But I've had a lot of support. That's good. We've expanded, and so we're working. But I wanted to find out from you. Well, one of the first things you do is you establish a presence. I've oftentimes said you establish a presence. Twitter, Instagram. I am everywhere. Social media. I am everywhere, and you constantly develop content and engage.
Yeah. So you can find as Urbane Society on Instagram, Twitter.
Tell me, how can people get in touch with Urbane? Tell us your contact. Twitter, what's your name on Twitter?
Yes, Urbane Society. So
Urbane, URBANESOCIETY.
Yes.
Urbane Society.
And it's a picture of a pink shopping bag. That's how you know it's us.
All right. And you're on Instagram, like Urbane Society.
Same thing. On all platforms.
Okay, good. LinkedIn?
Yep. LinkedIn, you can find me personally, Malik Waseem.
Malik Waseem, W-A-S.
Yeah, W-A-S-E-E-M.
W-A-S-E-E-M. Malik Waseem on LinkedIn, Urbane Society on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook.
Yes.
Okay, great.
TikTok as well.
And TikTok. Okay, great. And what if somebody wants to, what's your website? Do you have a website?
Yes, it's urbanesociety.us.
Urbanesociety.us. Okay, and you have a phone number for the society? I mean, you have a contact number for your business as well?
You can find that on the Instagram or on the website.
So you go on the Instagram website, you have all the additional information and so on. So thank you so much, my brother.
Thank you so much.
And I wish you all the best. And do come back on the show.
I definitely will. This is fun.
Well, yeah, man. I mean, we do video and audio. Today, I mean, it was impromptu. Another time we meet up, we will do video. And probably we'll get a journey and see what's going on and see how well the business is going.
Yes, I look forward to it.
And probably you can also you can have my book available on Urbane Society.
Oh yes, for sure. I'm gonna get it.
Yeah, man, definitely you're gonna love it. It's really interesting. I am gonna be on George the Poet show, which is a BBC on BBC. I'll be on BBC on October 6th, and then I'm gonna be in San Antonio, Texas, for the presenting at the Association for Graduate Level Professional Studies Program annual conference, and I'll be talking about neoliberalism, globalization, income inequality, poverty, and resistance. And I might also share with you my new book, which is about to come out probably within the next 2 or 3 months, Neoliberal Globalization Reconsidered. And of course, in about a year or two from now, we will release the other book, which is Power. Position, power, privilege, status, and secrets to unlocking divine intervention. Continue to listen to the Neoliberal Round podcast. Share us. Subscribe for free. https://anchor.fm/neoliberal. And of course, we're available on all streams: Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Podvine HQ. Just about any podcast stream you can think of. And if there's anywhere we are not, please let us know and we will be there. And please send us a donation at https://anchor.fm/theneoliberal/support. Visit us at theneoliberal.com or RenaldoCMcKenzie.com. And please subscribe and share the show with your friends. And just so you know, if you want to send me an email, RenaldoCMcKenzie@gmail.com. If you want to give us a contact, you can call us at 267-317-9202. The Neoliberal Corporation, serving the world today to solve tomorrow's challenges. Walk good.